Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Pro Trade Room Plus. Okay, testing the mic. 1 2 1 2. Okay, mic check. 1 2 1 2. Test 1 2. Testing 1 2 1 2. Okay, testing 1 2 1 2. Test 1 2. Sorry, folks. Okay, testing 1 2 1 2. There we go. Now you should be able to hear me. Sorry about that. Let's get started. Welcome to the Pro Trade Room Plus, ISM Manufacturing. My name is Lee Goldstein, the Trading Director for 10-Minute Trades. Please remember, I'm not a financial advisor. All the trades we discuss are for educational purposes. All right, markets just opened up. Big gap fill on the ES. Very good winning opening trade if you trade the open there. All you had to do was go long, looks like. They're not all like that, I could tell you that much. They are not all like that. All right, let me know for sure you can hear me. And want to say hello to everybody on YouTube. Good morning. We are streaming this. So the markets are opening as we speak. At 9:45, there is a report, final manufacturing, that we just watched. So I have to say I took the family money trade off of this event because the testing is really difficult. It has not been performing consistency for quite a long time now. So it is not official family money trade, and there's a lot of risk in this. Last month it was extremely unsafe to trade, and it was a very difficult whipsaw, bad fills with gold. The ES filled before the news as a trap trade. It might have worked. We weren't really testing the trap trade on the ES very consistently, but we've done a lot of testing because this report has been very difficult. If you look at our daily trade report, so if we look at the DMM, hang on, folks. If we look at the DMM, the gold breakout hasn't worked except once in 6 months. That's not a good trade right now. Um, Last month, we had an MNQ breakout. The market froze. The charts froze. It was such a radically fast acting report. I don't think we're going to get that kind of movement today. The markets are nowhere near as volatile as they were last month. They're still extremely volatile. And you can get those moments when news is tweeted or someone makes an announcement, you can get those crazy market moves. But we're not seeing the minute by minute heavy duty volatility to the level that we saw last month. So our trap trades might have a much better opportunity to work today on this report. I'm trading an ES trap and a gold trap, two different prop accounts. And I'm not saying either of them would I recommend highly. They're extremely risky because, like I said, this report has been extremely inconsistent. But there's another issue that comes up with this report. It traded with jolts in October. It traded with jolts in April. So it's had a couple of times where it's traded with other news that was just as important, if not more important, than this report. So just a heads up. Now, I would absolutely set up an after the news trade on both gold and the ES or the MES, whichever you prefer. You could also trade an MES trap and a micro gold trap instead if you want to take less risk. And you could just trade the outer tier on a trap trade so that you're only trading one order instead of two. That's a way that you could reduce your settings, your risk, not your settings, your risk. When you trade micros, I would generally almost double the stop. That would be the way that I would look at micros. Remember, you can always shrink the stop on most trap trades. It's pretty rare that a trap trade explodes, fills, and ends as fast as a breakout trade does. They usually require management, so you have time to shrink your stop. So it's always better, especially with micros, use a bigger stop than you think you need, and then shrink it when the trade shows that it's going to not hit the spike and hit your stop. That's the best way to approach stops with trap trades. I'm also thinking of a new update to the software for trap trades. Now, I think gold is going to test the high before this news even comes out. That's what it looks like. Now, you do have a gold magnet. That did happen at 8:30, right when the gold market opened. Gold hit the magnet. All right, it almost hit it before. So that gold magnet is not that long ago. So it's not as high probability right now as it was at 8:30, 8:20. You follow? Magnets are best first time. That's my favorite magnet. Second is good, and then the probabilities get worse and worse. But it also depends on the trend of the market. There's a lot of issues that that control whether or not you're going to make more new highs and new lows. News, trend, commentary. There's all different things that can obviously affect markets. So first things first, on the ES, I'm going to trade a trap. ES is probably the riskiest of the traps. Keep that in mind. ES is definitely the riskiest because the ES has hurt us more on trap trades than gold has because sometimes the ES just goes in one direction on a report, and it's hard to recognize that it's going to happen all the time. Like, it's too late to take this magnet here. It's too late to take this magnet, right? I'm tempted to just buy the market and put my stops in, but I'm not going to do it. That's kind of irresponsible trading. There is a news report coming out at 9:45. Gold is clearly making the high. Anybody who took the magnet trade early may have themselves a winning trade. I'm going to just trade my reports and then I'll look at other things. So first things first, the ES trap trade. ES trap. I'm using a stop of 25 and we've got 20 and 33 on our tiers. 20 and 33. 20 and 33. Like I said, I'm trading it in a Bull and Ox account. Apply it. Okay it. Now gold did the magnet. It didn't break it yet, but it's so close. I think it's going to break it. Now I'd like to see gold pull back a little bit before the news. I don't like trading gold. I don't like trading any instrument when it's just bursting in one direction right before news. Okay? Honestly, Roz, I can't really answer that. I don't know. I don't know. They're both micros. I mean, MES is their MGC is a little bit less expensive to trade, but not much. 25 cents a contract. Gold is $1 a contract on micros. MES is $1.12, not 25 cents, 12 cents. ES moves a lot more on this report than gold has been moving. I will say that. All right, so you could see gold did do that magnet. Now, I want to watch the market for one moment while this report comes out. Final manufacturing is coming out in a minute. 9:45. It'll be out a minute and a half. I'm almost in putting a, just for fun, on sim, a gold breakout, if I can do it fast enough. 9:44, 59, a bracket of 15. I'm going to leave my targets where it is, stop of 20, and I'm going to do it in sim. Means I got to put my chart on sim. Now we've got a minute, so I've got time to test my bracket. Maybe. 9:44:59. Not going to really have time to test the bracket. Let's see if I can get this to trigger properly. Now you see gold is just going up, 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 up. If it doesn't stop going up, up, if it keeps going up, 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 up for the next 15 minutes, I won't trade gold. And I'll just trade the ES on this report. Now all I'm doing is looking to see if there's any trade that's viable on this report. There's no big burst, no giant response. So that's all I was looking to see. I don't want it to fill me and put me in a trade because I'm not going to manage that trade now anyway. I was just curious if final manufacturing has an explosive move or not. And we just haven't seen that as being a tradable report. However, it may be that, I mean, gold is just pushing up. Let me set up the trap trade for gold. The trap trade for gold Now the news was, and it doesn't really affect our next report, it was 52, which is close to what was expected, a little bit less on manufacturing, but not horrible. All right, so a gold trap trade. Let me do one thing here. Let me get rid of our break. Right click the chart, click on strategies, trap trade. Position 1 is a 1, position 2 is a 1. That means one contract on each position. 9:59, 55 on the trigger. The stop is 25. Tier 1 on gold is 25. Tier 2 is 37, if I remember, with it being blocked here. 37, and the stop is 25. And then I'm going to choose trade it on a different account. I'm going to label it GC trap. I'll make sure I label my ES trap is labeled. So you label it, choose an account that it's going to trade on, apply it and OK it, and then make sure you put your chart trader on the account you're trading it on and enable it by clicking the checkbox. Now I want to see the instruments that we're trading pull back. I do want to see them pull back. Okay. I'm going to set up a one contract reverse continuation on gold. So I'm going to add a strategy to my gold chart. Reverse continuation, one position. So position 1 is a 1. Target 1, I'm going to make 30 ticks. Everything else is 0 except the stop. I'm going to risk 30 to make 30. It's a discretionary trade. You don't have to take a reversal continue. It's a completely discretionary trade. And the chart it's on is most often going to be the account you traded on because you aren't going to have time in most cases to change charts, change accounts. Gold's pulling down big time now. So reverse GC reverse, we'll call it REVGC. Let me do this. GC REV. Apply it. OK it. When you enable a reverse continue, you get your buttons. You can go long or short immediately. Now, the reason I'm spreading my charts is I want to see where my trap orders are going to appear. So let me double check. The market was so bullish. So I'm just turning off my gold trades for a moment. I'm putting my gold chart in sim. I'm setting my trap to 0. And I'm also putting the account to sim. I want to see where my orders are setting up. Just because I just want the chart manageable for the trap trade. Do you follow me? But not spread so wide that it makes it look like gold is so volatile we can't trade it. Do you follow me? All right. So my trap trade is set up. So now I can go back with proper management. I can go back, put the time back to correct. 9:59:55. Position 1 is a 1. Position 2 is a 1. The stop is 25, 25 on tier 1, 37 on tier 2. Choosing the account to trade it on, Bullinox. Apply it. I've already labeled it GC trap. Apply it. Okay it. Put chart trader on the account I'm trading it on. Now I can enable it again. Yes, I feel like my chart, excuse me, my chart is okay. And I also want to set up an ES after the news, reverse continue. Also, when you have a reverse continue set up, you could say to yourself, wow, you know what? The market's too volatile. Or I don't want to trade at the exact moment of the news. You don't have to trade at the exact moment of the news. Set up a reverse continue. Now, let me make sure my trades are set up properly here. ES, all right, so we've got a reverse continue on the ES. Going to do one position. We're going to do also 30 ticks and a 25 stop. ES is selling off big time now also. There's some very strange things going on in the markets today. Um, Oil, even though I think they said they're increasing production, oil is way up. It's up 5% today. And there's talk of rig counts being extremely low, meaning they're not producing. There's also news maybe production is struggling because of the fact that there's not so much oil everywhere. They're not sure. I mean, I was just hearing one person talk about it. None of that is definitive. Just interesting speculation about what's going on with the price of oil today, which is tremendously bullish. Reverse continue on the ES, one position, 30 tick target, 25 tick stop. Strictly a discretionary trade again. You don't have to take it if you don't want to. Or you could look to take a discretionary trade rather than a trade exactly when the news is released, which is the more risky event. I mean, that is the way we trade in general, but we do both now a lot. Big pullback from the high on the ES. That kind of pullback definitely makes me think something was said in the news, and I'm just not seeing it in the news feed I'm looking at. I'll tell you the one couple of things that bug me. Robinhood. Robinhood is a broker that I would never put my money with them. Do you remember during the pandemic when they stopped people from trading during the meme stock thing? When GameStop was going crazy with what was the name of that? Something Kitty. Guy made millions of dollars. Robinhood stopped their traders from trading. They wouldn't let people trade. And people, they were never really castigated for that. They got some negative press and it went away. They never were fined. They never were punished. This is my humble opinion that this is what happened. I'm not going to say it's a fact, but I would not ever use Robinhood as a broker. They would not be my broker. Brokers are not your friends. Brokers are your partners, but don't ever think the broker's your friend. Now, gold has unbelievable risk, in my opinion, right now. I don't think I'd want to get filled on the short side for gold. You could take a trap trade where you only get filled long. So if the market goes down on the news, that's the only trade you take. The only thing I could say what's interesting about gold on this report is it hasn't been super volatile recently. We didn't even get filled um, in April. In April, we didn't get filled. No matter what, there's a lot of risk on this report. I'm just telling you because of the way it's been behaving. Alfonso, it certainly wouldn't surprise me that that's what they were doing. I mean, let's be honest, hedge funds own the world. In the area that I live, hedge funds bought a major hospital system and they took the system bankrupt after distributing $100 million that they took out of the system. And now I'm talking an area outside of the city of Philadelphia, a suburb, not, a rural area. I'm talking, a major suburban area has lost two major hospitals to bankruptcy because a hedge fund was allowed to buy the hospitals, for one, which should be illegal. And then they were allowed to take the company, which really was a shell company, just to take out the money, distribute it to shareholders. And now there's no emergency rooms for miles because of what they did. It's beyond comprehension. It's going on right now. I don't understand why the governor didn't do something about it. Nobody's done anything about it. It's mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. It's a complete failure of government. Complete. And something that's going on right now. This is not something that happened like 6 months ago. They should not, a hedge fund shouldn't be allowed to own a hospital system, just like they shouldn't be allowed to own single family homes, which they're buying all the single family homes, buying up all the homes in the country now. I'll tell you, so, I've been ranting a lot lately, but there's another thing. Let's watch the news, but there's another really big issue in our society that nobody wants to pay attention to, and it's gambling. Think about gambling and the effect, the pollution it has created in sports. Sports without gambling doesn't exist anymore. It's mind-boggling. Where's all the money coming into sports? From gambling. Gambling companies, DraftKings, etc. The whole bit. There's no integrity in sports anymore. You'll see. It's going to come out. I'm not a lunatic. I'm not crazy. The day is going to come again when people are being paid. Refs will wind up. There'll be a big scandal. There's just too much money. There's too much money floating around. So we're going to try and manage both of these trap trades, right? We're going to try and manage both of these trap trades. And why do you think you're reading all the time athletes are getting death threats if they have a bad day pitching? I mean, it's only gambling that causes people to go that crazy. It's insane. All right. So we have 30 minutes. Gold is pulling back. I think that this is going to be tremendous risk on this report. Keep in mind on a trap trade, if you see a huge profit on the screen and you get confused, you can hit the close button and it will end the trade. And if you are lucky, you can get a profit. Sometimes a trap trade will go out of control. Now, it may be hard to control two of these. So the ES filled both. Now, I'd like to see a change in direction. Same thing with gold. I'm moving my stop to safety with gold. It took me out with just a small win there. So now I'm kind of concentrate on the ES. There was an opportunity to get out of that ES before it does what it's doing now. So the ES, one direction only. And this is what I was extremely concerned about with this trade. that it would just go for a test of the low. I think the ES is going to test the low. So I'll take that second trade, try and get some of that money back for a test of the low. Gold's already going back to the high. Now, there's no guarantee that I'm going to be right about this. I think it's going to go test the low, but it's not a guarantee. The news was pretty negative, pretty negative. All the manufacturing was down. Everything on this report was negative. Nothing about it was good. That tends to push gold up. Not going to take a second gold trade. The ES trade, it's not pushing to the downside the way I'd like it to. And the ES was in profit for the first 10 seconds of the trade. It was not easy. If I hadn't been trading two trap trades and looking at gold, I might have just hit the close button. But that would have been the only way to get out of this. And this is not going to work. It looks like it's not going to work. So not a good trap trade, to say the least, and not a good second trade. It did not want to go and test that low. Instead, it just changed direction on that. So that is the way it is. A small win on gold, tiny, and a big loser on the ES, unfortunately. Look, I said at the beginning of this report, this was going to be high risk. Said it was going to be high risk. So I want to just say thanks for everybody that watched us on YouTube. Every trade isn't a winner. That's the way it goes. So I'm going to close the stream, and we're streaming 3 times this week. So we'll be back. Keep an eye on your email, and you'll see when we're streaming again, and hit